Hey everyone. All right, so here we are Wednesday morning, finishing the day up $3,700, which is terrific. So a nice green day, a bounce off of yesterday's red day. The big mover today, DMP I. Wasn't on the watch list, but started to take off, had news out this morning, and it squeezed up actually just about 100%, which is impressive. So I was able to capture some profit along the way. I wasn't as aggressive in the early part of the move as I could have been, because of course, you know, in the last few weeks, being aggressive hasn't worked. So I was a little conservative in the beginning. I got a little aggressive towards the end, took one loss, which gave back about a third of my profit, and then one winner, which got me back up to the highs. So I could have done better if I was more aggressive early on, but there was no way to know that this was going to be the one that finally opened up, and that it wasn't going to just pop up 10 or 15 cents and then get slammed right back down. So I think I traded it the right way, but if we continue to see this type of momentum tomorrow and Friday, well, then maybe I'll start picking up the pace a little bit, trying to be a little more aggressive. Reminder, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, we're hosting a free workshop. So those of you guys who want to learn how to trade, who have the 3 Ds, dedication, discipline, and drive, I expect that you guys will register, you will show up, and you will try to learn as much as you can about my strategy. This is going to be a really great event. So that's tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, and everyone else, I will see you first thing, live streaming, 9:15, the watch list tomorrow morning. All right, see you then. All right, so we're gonna go over the trades from this morning. Hey, green day, $3,797.73 is not bad. It could have been a little better, but pull out the calendar, mark it down, make it official. So I've got my calendar back. I filled in the last few weeks of trading, which have been, not super impressive, but today we saw a glimmer of hope, a little bit of momentum, and it was on DMP I, which actually squeezed up 100% from a low of $1.25 to a high of $2.66. So I took a number of trades on this stock in a few different places. Starting the day, this was not on my watch list. In fact, my watch list was basically, there's nothing that looks good today. JNCE, this one was a gapper, but was already trending down pre-market. So I knew that this one wasn't going to be easy to trade. I didn't want to switch and try to trade to the short side. You know, when you're in a little bit of a rut, the last thing you want to do is start messing around with your strategy. You don't want to trade what you know generally works. Now, generally means that over the course of weeks and months, you've been, consistent with this strategy, and just right now you're experiencing a little bit of a cold streak. So didn't want to switch gears and try to do short positions on JNCE, although that would have worked out okay. VISL gapping up 12%, but this one has had a really rough time the last few weeks, hasn't had a single green day, and I just don't see a lot of potential in it. So I'm being on the cheaper side, just wasn't interested. So I left that one alone. All right, so I'm going to pull that back. And then these ones, I didn't really look at this. I don't know. I think when I was looking at the gap scan, it didn't have much volume at all, so nothing there. Too expensive. I didn't look at this one, a little over $10, not enough volume, too expensive, too cheap, floats too high, not enough volume, too expensive, too cheap, too expensive. So basically, we didn't have much of a watch list this morning, and I didn't take my first trade. Really, it was until DMP I not just hit the scanner, which was at 39 and 45, but until it really opened up. Because what happened on this one was it hit the scanner, and right away it had a big seller. So I don't see any stock at the moment that has a particularly big seller. Try to see CCI. Let's see. I don't know if anyone knows of one that right now happens to have a really big seller, but in any case, DMP I, when I first pulled it up, had on the ask a 77,000 share seller at $1.44. So it pops up and immediately has this seller, and I just thought, you know what, this thing is, it's not going to go anywhere. This is just the same typical stuff we've been seeing. And I was watching it, but I didn't even prepare an order for it because of that big seller at 44. Well, it broke through that seller right here and popped up to a high of 68. It then does a pullback, and I took a scalp trade right here on this first pullback. We get a move up to 90. I took another trade on this pullback here, and this one gave us a nice move up to a high of 220, which was awesome. I took another trade here, and then I took another trade right in here, and actually gave back a little profit. I took one more trade right here and gave back a little more profit. So that was a little annoying. And then I took one more trade right here. I actually bought right here, held for a second, and then boom, that breakout gave me a nice win. So finishing at high of day on this stock, my personal high of day of $3,700, which is great. While DMP I was squeezing up, you can see it moving up on the scanner. CUR hit the scanner, very low float, but light volume, no news. Didn't do anything. DMP I moving higher. SGMA, that one hits the scanner, and I did jump in it. I tried to take a scalp, and you can see it popped up, dropped down, popped back up. Not the easiest. I made $47 on it, which is just great that I didn't lose on it. But DMP I was the big win today. We had a catalyst. We had a great daily chart with room up to the 200 moving average, somewhat recent reverse split, history of making big moves, despite the fact that that move got, completely retraced. So nice opportunity, especially considering the market we've been in. I could have been, on this one right here, I did give back about $1,300. So I went up 3,500 and then, or 3,400, and then was up only 2,100. So I was kind of disappointed that I'd given back that much on that trade. I really thought at that moment, which was like right here, that this thing was going to break right over 240 and we were going to squeeze right to 250. And then right here it comes up a second time, it fails, and then it comes up a third time, and I was like, I'm going to do it. I really think it's going to break that level. And I stepped up to the plate. And then I added at the break of 40. We broke, or I think I added at 45 or something like that. I can't remember. But anyways, I went for that break, that scalp over the highs, and we got the move right here up to 66. So the cleanest breakouts, really, this one, and this one took a long time. So, the lesson here being that sometimes the cleanest moves are early in the breakout, and sometimes when it gets kind of, overcrowded in this period of choppiness, it starts to get a little bit more difficult to trade. So I'll be glad that I've got a green day. That puts me back to being green on the week. Not by a lot, but hey, green on the week is great. And let me show you guys where I'm sitting at on the month, not including today. So let's see. All right, so this is July. That's gross, so this is going to be my, let's see, is that right? That doesn't include yesterday, so it doesn't include the loss from yesterday. But, not in the best shape on the month, but 72% accuracy. Not bad, right? So the accuracy is good. The problem this month has been that I haven't had big winners. My average loser is about $1,200. That's not unusual. If I look at going back to the first of the year, average losers are about 1,100. So that's not uncommon. The problem has just really been that this month and even this year, my average winners have been a little bit smaller, which isn't great. It's certainly not nice to see this negative profit-loss ratio this month. This is sort of the most extreme that it's been. And I think it's the nature of the fact that we just haven't seen a lot of good follow-through. So a lot of my winning trades have ended up being small because we haven't had those big home runs. My biggest gain this month has only been $6,600, which, is good, but Biggest loser, 3,700. It just, we haven't seen a lot of those home runs. So I've been grinding on smaller numbers, but I'm making progress. Now, I had a good mentor session with one of my inner circle students yesterday, and we were talking about, because he said, well, this is frustrating because I was doing so well back in June, and I don't really get what's going on. So let's look at overview here of calendar for the month of June. So the first half of June, this was the first 2 weeks of June right here. And you can see I was doing pretty well. 10,000, 2,300, 100, 7,500, 8,000. A red day net down 10 grand. Next day I was up 20 grand. 2,200, 4,700, 4,700. So, in these 2 weeks here, I was up like 50 grand. And then things started to turn around. And so my student was also doing really, really well during those first 2 weeks. And then he was feeling frustrated because he said, I'm not doing anything different. I'm just feel like I'm not making as much money. And so what we talked about was the importance of being able to adapt the strategy to the market that you're in, because doing the exact same thing every day, and he was saying, look, I'm doing the same exact thing every day, I don't understand why I'm getting different results. It's actually not the right approach. What you got to do is you got to be able to adapt your strategy slightly to the market that is in front of you. And so talked about NASCAR, right? And I'm not a big NASCAR person, but I think it's a good analogy. So, with NASCAR, you've got to tune your car to the track that you're on. And if you've got, conditions on the track, like you've got, rain or something like that, you need to adjust the car to those conditions. And so we need to adjust our strategies to the condition of the market. We can't control the market. We can only adapt to the market that we're in. And so if we're in a cold market, we got to bring down the power a little bit on this engine. I can't be trading with 20,000 shares on every single trade I take. I've got to trade with smaller size until I see the track drying out, and all of a sudden we get an opportunity, something starts to open up, and I'm going to put the pedal to the metal really quickly. That way I'm going to capitalize on that opportunity and try to make up some ground. But to think that, okay, I'm just going to come in and do the exact same thing every day, I understand that logic 100%. But what I have found is that you'll do better if you learn to, throttle back through a cold market and then put the pedal to the metal with, yeah, I know, right? A Sunoco sign. Put the pedal to the metal on, when the market's hot. All right. So, that's just my kind of 2 cents on it. And maybe something that I'm going to work on is developing within the strategy classes a framework for hot market strategy and cold market strategy. So you can sort of see how I tune the strategy to the market that we're in. And that's, yes, this is not going to be my most impressive month here, the month of June or July. But, I'm still sitting in great shape for the year. And that's because I go aggressive when the market's hot, and then I tune things down when the market is slower. And so I'm generally able to, get through the cold streaks without, getting beaten up too much. And then when we do have, when things pick up and I do start to see some really big momentum, I get aggressive quickly and then capitalize. So, Monday was a green day. I made only $267. We just didn't see a lot of momentum. And then today all of a sudden momentum's back. I'm stepping up the share size and trying to make the most of it, knowing that this has to tide me over for possibly a couple of days. It's possible that tomorrow we won't see a lot of momentum and I got to just go back to trading with small size. So reminder, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, free workshop. Encourage you guys to register if you haven't already. Those of you guys that are really sitting on the sidelines but wanting to learn more about this strategy, it's a good time. You're going to get a lot of free info. So that's tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully we start the day with some more green trades. I'd really like to finish up this week and really the rest of the month with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more green days. That would be a really nice way to finish the month. And then, going into August, it's a great time to be, again, focused on discipline. We're going to see some opportunities like we saw today on DMP I, but they will be fewer and further between. August often is a slower time in the market, but that means it's a great time to be studying, great time to be practicing, because when the market does pick back up in September, October, November, you want to be ready so you can be locking up some real profits during the strongest time of the year. You know, if you're trading in the simulator during the strongest time of the year, that's great. You're going to feel like you're making money in the sim, but really nice to be making some real money during that time of year. So practice now and get yourself ready for the fall and the winter, because that's when things are really going to pick up. All right, everyone, that's it for me. I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.